Welcome back to another episode of the Williford Brothers. We are your show hosts, Luke and
Lee Williford.
Lee. Who are we joined by today?
We are joined by the one and only Brian Wallace. We are so pleased to have you, Brian.
Great to be with you guys.
Yes, Brian is the CEO and president of the Coin Laundry Association out of Chicago. He has been a friend, mentor for a long time. Grateful to have you here, Brian.
Well, it's been a pleasure to know both of you for so long, and just so impressed with what you all have achieved in the industry. And what seems to me a relatively short time probably feels like a long time to you. But you're doing great things to help our industry.
Thank you. We have a heart for it, which goes back a long time for us. It's in our DNA. This industry is serving people's in our industry, in our DNA. And we're thankful that we get to do that in the self-service laundry for us.
Yep. And our dad, Marshall Williford, gave us fertile ground for sure to start on.
Yes.
He means the world to us. And I know you have a history together. We grew up going to CLA events, Lee and I both. So the Coin Laundry Association is really in our DNA. Just the industry as a whole. So we have fond memories of.
Well, as do I, and as you both know, Marshall was such a mentor for me early on. He was on the chairman of the board around the time that I took on the president and CEO position, and as you know, he's very encouraging and has a lot of really, it's kind of a subtle approach to coaching that really resonated with me, and you could see his heart was in it from the jump, and that was all volunteer effort on his part, so that set a great example for me, and just learned a lot from him over the years. Now I'm learning from you.
Yeah. Our dad is definitely a natural coach.
Yes.
He loves to do that. Baseball, whatever it is, basketball, backyard football, he's always been a coach, so we appreciate his heart to serve in that way.
Absolutely. We love you, Dad, if you're watching.
Hey, Marshall.
Well,
where are we as an industry? Where's the industry and going into 2020?
How much time do we have?
You do the abridged version.
Well, I think we've gone through about 25 years of change in the last two.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really been remarkable.
Lots of disruption.
It was sort of one of the things that we always liked about the business is sort of steady, consistent, stable. Empty the source. All those kind of words. And now, which is always great because it just meant that business was strong, demand was there, we were taking good care of our customers, and we're still doing all that, but we're just doing it in different ways, right? With the advent of technology and a lot of new blood getting into the industry and the multi-store management, and we can go down the list. So I think we've been in really an important growth phase for the industry, being able to embrace all these new ideas and new technologies, and at the end of the day, I think we're taking better care of that customer. That mom comes in to do laundry on Saturday morning. I think she's much more likely today to go into a place that's clean and safe and well equipped with a store owner who cares about them. Now, granted, that's not all everyone's experience, but I think that has increased significantly over the last couple of years. And you want to get this question about where we are as an industry, I like to start with demand. Are people buying what we're selling?
Yes.
And if you look at...
We're not here without them.
We're not here without them. So if you look at the demographics, if you look at the quality of stores, the way we're drawing customers in, I think we're in a great spot right now as an industry.
Yes. We still are, even as disruptive and dynamic as it's been over the last 2 years.
Well, disruptive is uncomfortable. Doesn't necessarily mean negative.
It's not negative. That's right.
It's an opportunity and pushes some of us out of our comfort zone.
We embrace those opportunities.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a lot change. Like you said, 25 years of change in 2 years or so. Yeah. And even when we went through COVID and the pandemic and supply chain shortages, prices increased for manufacturers, and they had to give those down to us as the buyers of equipment. So, and then also utilities. So natural gas really went up for us. So a change we had to make. We had to raise our prices, and that's the last thing that people want to do as operators in our business. In the past, it's been always compete lowest price, but really there's no margin if you don't, because we're a service provider, and we're basically reselling utilities through these washers and dryers.
And our pricing strategy has always been to be the high price leader, and so we're at that mark regardless. And so when we have to institute a price increase, it feels painful for us because we know that we're just passing that on to our customers. Well, but thankfully, we call our customer, our ideal customer in our mind, Angela. And so thankfully, throughout this past 2 years or so, Angela has been able to kind of be insulated from those price increases because maybe she's gotten a job increase in her wages. Yeah,
for sure.
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship that we have with customers, right? They do well, we do well, and that's why we try to take such good care of them. But, I was thinking a lot about the natural gas situation just over the last couple of days. Our members, especially in California, are hurting right now with doubling and tripling of bills. And I had a flashback to the natural gas spike in 2001 and 2006, and it's been pretty quiet since then. But at that time, so much of our conversation was around vend price. Like, oh my goodness, can we push off of 12 minutes for a quarter? That was the big debate.
Yeah.
Then it was, can we get off of 10 minutes for a quarter? And I think what you're alluding to is one of the biggest changes I think I've identified in the industry of late is it used to be maybe a quarter difference, maybe 50-cent difference.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you see $1 difference, $2 difference, $3 difference. And it just means that someone is taking that much better care of customers. That operator is committed to maintaining the level of profitability that it takes to deliver that level of service to customers. And so while no one likes this gas increase, you guys don't like it, but we're not having as much of a debate over whether or not to raise price. It's more a matter of how to implement it and how to do it in such a way that is least disruptive to the customer. So I think that spread of pricing from the low price leader to the high price leader has gotten a lot wider, and there's just there's less of a
I think it goes
hesitation.
back to what you were talking about earlier, is because there is a segment of our industry that is just raising the bar, continue to raise the bar on how well they serve their customer, kind of reestablishing the mindset that comes to mind when you think of a laundromat. And so that takes capital. And so to have the capital now and into the future, you have to charge those prices to make sure that you're delivering a service that your customer feels well taken care of, like you said, and then you have the capital to reinvest when it comes time.
Yeah, that large gap in price is also a large gap in value. I was doing a session a few weeks ago, one-on-one session with a guy who had flown into Raleigh, and he said, okay, I've seen some of your stores. I want to see your competitors. So I said, well, I haven't been in my competitors' stores in a while. So we went by a couple of them, and a machine that we were vending at $8.25, I believe, they were vending at $5.75, less than a mile away. So that just goes to prove your point.
But Luke, all laundromat customers care about is price. I mean, every time that comes up, there's 100 examples that dispel that. Where, granted, like in any industry, any product or service, there are price shoppers, and people are going to do that.
And it's nice that there's a supply there for those customers. That they can be served. Right. At that level.
I wouldn't have paid $1 because the facility that I went in, it was not
at that price. It was
unattended, and it was nasty, and it just goes back to the same principles. I remember at Christmas a few years back, we watched a speech that my dad did for the Coin Laundry Association probably 20, 30 years ago, and it could literally be practical today. He could come and give that same speech today. Bright lights, make it clean, staff, customer friendly, large machines, which back then they didn't make them as large, so now we can actually process a lot more laundry in a smaller square footage because of these large capacity machines. And
we have to, because thankfully a lot of our customers have access to inexpensive clothing. They can go and they can buy a whole lot more in pounds of clothing for $20 than they could a few years ago, maybe a couple decades ago. And so we fortunately are able to offer large capacity washers and dryers that allow them to do all that laundry in one place at one time and do it quickly.
Yep, we've chosen to do self-service only, but I know a lot of the industry is really pushing wash, dry, fold, and especially pick up and delivery with all the new technologies. Could you shed any light on that?
Yep.
Sure. I mean, and again, that's the beauty of this business, is you can sort of do as much or as little as you want. You can make it as simple or as complex as you want, and sometimes that changes over the course of
trade-offs.
Your life cycle of your laundromat. Maybe you kept it simple, then you got it a little more complicated, then maybe you came back to it. So when it comes to, we'll call it full service laundry, drop off, delivery, commercial accounts, et cetera. Yeah, it's just, it's a function of the basic demand. There are garments, textiles, clothes. I mean, everything needs to get washed. And I think as our facilities have gotten better and the operators have gotten that much more sophisticated and dialed in, they're finding like they can't believe how much more laundry is out there. And so it's not the zero sum game. If I make $1, you didn't lose $1.
That's good.
We're actually bringing business in from the apartments, from the homeowners, and maybe some competitors that aren't as strong. But I think people they don't like doing laundry. Let's face it. And so some are going to be in a position where they can afford to outsource that chore. Yes. And I used to frame it up with oil changes and mowing lawns. And you think about things that a lot of households used to do for themselves and say, why isn't laundry part of this conversation? Right? Because it takes more time than all those other things and is a disliked chore. So now there's a better solution. And we're just seeing exponential growth. And yes, some of our members have really embraced it and are growing their businesses. And some are keeping it simple, and there's really no right or wrong to it.
Yes, for sure. I always joke it's kind of like raising children, running a business. You get to do it how you want to. And so, very thankful. Yeah, we have friends in the industry who are all in on full service laundry, and they serve customers really well. But like Luke said, the word trade-off, we decided several years ago that we were going to focus on Angela, that primary customer of ours, that target customer, and to just try to serve her as well as possible.
And we were growing. We were continuing to grow. We were seeing in our market, it was underserved. Obviously, we put a number of stores in a small proximity, and we continue to have places where the demand is there. And it's, like you said, it's not a pizza and we're just slicing the pie. There's all this. I love to use this illustration. There's all this outside you actually that we don't take into consideration.
Well, the way we used to talk about it, using that same pizza or pie analogy is what we need to try to do collectively as an industry, and this is where we get back to the association and working as a community. The real solution is to bake a bigger pie, right? We need to have, so when we do take our slice, it's a bigger slice, and we have that opportunity to grow the business. So there are a lot of headwinds, there are a lot of challenges. I'm not here to say that this is easy by any means, but I think we're well positioned to continue to grow based on all the things we've been talking about.
And I just love the human element of our industry, and I know you do as well, just going and physically serving the community, because that's what we do as laundromats. Our reputation isn't national as a laundromat. This podcast might be a national thing, but our reputation as a laundromat is in that community there, and you have a reputation. If you're a laundry owner and you're watching this, you have a reputation. It's either good or bad, and it can be changed very quickly if you'll just put some time and effort into it and just care about who you're serving. And
I think about, so we have transitioned all of our stores to a card payment system, a closed loop system that we created. And I think about all the people who have either that card physically in their wallet, dangling from their rear view mirror, or on their app on their phone. And like Luke said, our brand is there, our reputation is tied to it, the culture we've created for our team members, for what our customers walk into. Those things have been shaped and crafted intentionally over the last 10, 15 years while we've been participating in it. And it makes a big difference. And you go into a city like Fayetteville, where we have about 10 locations. We went from 0 to 10 in 7 years. And I don't know, our dad jokes, where were those people doing their laundry? And so when you are serving people very well,
they'll find you.
Yes, they will find you. And when you reduce the amount of work that they have to do to accomplish the goal of cleaning their laundry, somehow laundry starts to increase in volume also. And so to me, that's one powerful way of increasing the pie, is by reducing the work that our customers have to experience, and the chore becomes a little bit less. Yeah, they still have to physically bring their stuff to us because we're fully self-service, but it reduces the amount of work that they have to do, and then it becomes a little bit less resistant. They're bringing in more stuff. They're coming more often, and that increases traffic, utilization, profitability, and so it's powerful.
Well, you mentioned Marshall earlier, and I was thinking when you were running through that about another mentor that served around the same time, Bob Eisenberg, and he used to really emphasize the fact that a laundromat is a retail place where people don't come to shop; they come to work.
That's true.
So that's notion of how do you facilitate that chore, and all the things you're talking about. If you make it easy, if you make it hassle-free, that may not sound like a high bar, but to a lot of our customers, they just want to get it done.
That's right.
And
they have a lot of stressors in their life. Laundry doesn't need to be one.
Our mission, and Lee says it 10 times a day, is excellent customer experience.
Yep.
Everything we do, from the HVAC contractor to the paint on the walls to the fixing of the machine to training our staff, is to provide an excellent customer experience. And we do that, just multiplies.
Yep.
And
fortunately for us, those type things are easy to scale. You know, it's okay. So once you have it figured out, even the color on the wall has an impact on how our customer is going to experience their laundry, doing their laundry in our stores. And before you know it, it's in all of your stores. It provides consistency, and those small little things.
Yeah, and it's been neat to see with our software how many customers utilize multiple locations because they're on different sides of town. So.
Well, that consistency is so important. Just think about, where else are your customers spending an hour and a half to 2 hours every week?
Stuck.
I mean, it may feel stuck, but they're just, other than their home, their work, where else are they spending that much time?
Yeah.
And so you have to make it comfortable. You have to make it welcoming. You have to make it friendly.
Yeah.
And you're going to get the lion's share of the business.
I think about the atmosphere, and it reminds me of the TVs we started doing that create a great atmosphere, and Wi-Fi that we provide. It's the simple things. Our business is not very complex. The industry's not.
Well, simple's not easy. Those
right.
Those are two different things. I think a lot of the keys to success in our industry are simple. They're evident, but it's not easy to execute.
For sure.
And you see that every day when you travel around. There's some people that are able to execute that vision, and a whole lot that aren't.
Yes. Cool. So it's 2030. You're still CEO and president of the Coin Laundry Association.
God willing, yes. Hopefully.
That's about 7 years from now. Where are we going? What does the industry as a whole look like?
Well, I still think there's going to be a role for every sort of laundromat owner type, but I do think that it's going to lean further into the multi-store model, which again I continue to believe is really enabled by the technological advancements in the industry, and that's everything from equipment efficiency to payment systems to remote monitoring, and really the effective. Let's not forget about the effective marketing that's brought these folks in. Sure. It's the digital marketing. So I like to predict such a radical futuristic view for 2030, but I just think that we're going to continue to build on where we are today, and I have a very high level of confidence that we're going to be doing as much or more business collectively as an industry, and that might mean fewer locations. We've seen some consolidation. I'm sure you've seen it in your market.
Oh yes.
So there may be fewer stores headcount wise, but we're doing maybe 20-30% more laundry in those remaining stores based on size, capacity, quality of operation. So I'm very bullish on the industry. And I think that we're going to continue to do well, and I'm sure that we'll continue to see innovations that we haven't even thought about yet. That'll be commonplace in 2030 that aren't even on our radar yet.
Absolutely,
definitely.
Well, this has been great. Any other questions you have, Lee?
I have lots.
We'll keep you. I told him an hour and a half, but
I've got like 3 in the pipeline.
But
it's been great. We're so thankful that you're a part of the industry, and the industry is thankful for all of the impact that you've had. Significant impact.
Sure. Yep.
Well, thank you so much, and again, keep it up. You're leaders yourselves. You're really showing people the way to do it, and it's very generous of you to take an opportunity like this to share what you've learned with everyone else.
And share how people can connect with CLA, or any events you have coming up. I know we have Excellence coming up.
Sure. I'll just give you a quick rundown. Coin Laundry Association, you can find us at coinlaundry.org. We're the National Trade Association, so we are the community. We're the knowledge base. This is where you plug in with the industry. This is where you support your profession. And we do that through education, advocacy, networking, and we have some products and services that can help people do better. We're the publisher of Planet Laundry magazine, digitally and in print, so you can find us at planetlaundry.com. Next time we'll talk about Laundry Cares Foundation, our charitable foundation, but there's always something happening, and yes, the next big event is our Excellence in Laundry coming up May 9th to the 11th out in San Diego, California, where we're going to bring together the best of the best and just have a tremendous time together, and can't wait to see you there.
Should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, we are this place, having Brian here, you can't make this stuff up.
Very special.
This
will be memorable.
Yes, I say that regularly. Well, thank you for giving us your time, and thank you for all that you do on our behalf and the Coin Laundry Association, your team. I know you speak on behalf of your hardworking team.
Yes.
And you guys are located in Chicago. So any owners ever out in Chicago, I know the Coin Laundry Association has an open door.
Absolutely.
Would love for you to stop by.
We talk shop every day, so come on by.
Well, thanks again. That's it for this episode of the Williford Brothers. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow us. Send us any messages. Check out the Coin Laundry Association. And, thank you for watching. Take care.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, man.